We all dream about touring motorcycles that can take us cross-country in total comfort. Plush seats, big fairings, the bike you hop on for a 1,000-mile weekend. But here in summer of 2026, the used touring motorcycle market is a lot more suspect than most riders realize. Some of the most respected names in touring, bikes with decades of reputation behind them, have been quietly hit with recalls, known failure points, and repair bills that can wipe out whatever money you saved by buying used. The conclusion we reached was that a trusted badge on a tank doesn't mean trouble-free ownership. And you will find out just exactly which ones in this video, and some of them will indeed surprise you. Here are the 10 worst touring motorcycles to buy in 2026. Bikes with specific years to avoid, real engineering failures, and ownership stories you need to hear before you hand anyone your hard-earned money. Number 10. Honda Goldwing. This bike is one of the most respected touring motorcycles ever built. Millions of miles logged, decades of reputation. It's extremely popular. The bike experienced riders recommend to their friends without hesitation. So you're probably wondering, what is a bike like this doing on this list? Let us explain. In the last 2 years, it's been hit with 3 separate recalls. One of them involves a bolt inside the engine that can fail without warning. When it does, the engine seizes solid mid-ride. Not a warning light, not a slow decline, just done. That's the Honda Goldwing, specifically the 2018 through 2024 GL1800 generation. Honda calls it the UBS bolt. It sits deep inside the crankcase, and when it breaks, the damage is catastrophic enough that most cases require pulling the entire engine to repair. It's not common, but it's common enough that Honda issued a recall covering every 2018 through 2024 model, DCT and manual alike. But wait, there's more. In 2024, Honda recalled over 18,000 units for a primary drive belt that can fail and stall the engine outright. A separate fuel pump recall followed the same year. Here's what makes this one sting more than most on this list. The Goldwing built its reputation on being the bike that doesn't let you down. Riders bought it specifically to avoid this kind of story. 3 recalls in 2 years doesn't erase decades of trust, but it's proof that even the gold standard isn't bulletproof. We know everybody loves the Goldwing, but even with a sure thing like the Goldwing, you need to be careful with the year and the model. Up next, a bike with a reputation just as strong, and a problem that's been quietly known for over 20 years. Number 9. Harley-Davidson Touring Twin Cam. This next brand built its entire identity on one word: dependable. For over a century, riders have trusted the Harley-Davidson name more than almost any other on 2 wheels. But there's a problem that's been quietly known inside this brand for more than 20 years, and it lives in the one place you really don't want a problem: the camshaft. That's the Harley-Davidson Twin Cam engine, used across the Electric Glide, Road Glide, and Street Glide touring lineup from 1999 through 2006. The issue is the cam chain tensioner. It's made of plastic, and over time, especially past 40,000 miles, it wears down and starts to fail. When it does, it doesn't fail quietly. Metal debris circulates through the oil system, timing goes off. In the worst cases, the entire engine needs to come apart to fix it. Owners who caught it early swapped in an aftermarket steel tensioner and rode another 100,000 miles without issue. Owners who didn't sometimes found out the hard way, usually with a rattling noise that got louder every week until it couldn't be ignored anymore. Harley never issued a formal recall for this. It became something riders had to learn from each other, bike shop to bike shop, forum post to forum post. And here's the part that stings even more. This wasn't a fluke year or a rare defect. It affected the touring lineup for the better part of a decade. Crazy to think about, but it happened. Again, it's a popular bike a lot of people love, but you also have to do your homework and be able to pick out the right years and models. Up next, a brand riding a wave of comeback momentum, with a recall history that's barely 2 years old. Number 8. Indian Rodmaster. Indian has spent the last decade clawing its way back. New engines, new tech, a genuine challenge to Harley's dominance of the American touring market. But somewhere in that comeback, quality control slipped. Badly. That's the Indian Rodmaster. And in under 10 years, it's been hit with 3 separate recalls, each one more serious than the last. The first came in 2018, covering 2015 through 2017 models. Water was getting into the trunk wiring harness, which could cause the brake light to stay on constantly, even when a rider wasn't braking. Confusing for the rider behind you, dangerous in traffic. Then, in December 2023, a bigger problem surfaced. A crankshaft position sensor wire, routed too close to the front exhaust heater, would melt and cause the engine to stall without warning. Indian traced it back to 8 separate warranty claims, some involving smoke coming directly off the wire. 8 months later, a third recall hit. This time, a metallurgy defect in the rear suspension pushrod that could cause the suspension to bottom out unexpectedly. Discovered after a dealer reported total pushrod failure during routine service. 3 recalls, 3 completely different systems: wiring, sensors, suspension. For a brand trying to convince riders it belongs in the same conversation as Harley and Honda, that's not the track record you want following you into showrooms. If you're enjoying this video thus far, please hit that like button and subscribe if you haven't already done so. Leave a comment if you've ridden any of these bikes and let us know what your experience was like. Thank you. Up next, a bike that promises German engineering and delivers German electrical bills. Number 7. BMW K1600 GT/GTL. German engineering, 6-cylinder smoothness, and a price tag that tells you this bike is supposed to be flawless. That's the promise of the BMW K1600 GT and GTL. What you actually get has been more complicated. We'll start with the handlebar switches. Early models suffered from printed circuit boards that failed inside the switch housing, sometimes leaving riders unable to start the bike at all. One owner reported the engine dying mid-ride at 70 miles per hour, with his wife on the back. BMW eventually acknowledged the problem and issued a recall, but for years, dealers gave conflicting answers about whether it had even been fixed. Then there's the ignition coils. Some owners report 90,000 trouble-free miles. Others have replaced 3 coils on a single bike. BMW's best guess is heat exposure, but there's no clear pattern, which makes it hard to predict who gets the good bike and who doesn't. Add in reported water pump failures that can lead to coolant loss and overheating, plus a 2019 and 2020 recall covering a suspension issue that could affect the bike's electronic control unit, and a picture starts to form. None of these problems are common on every unit, but when they show up, they're expensive, and BMW's complexity makes them harder to diagnose than almost any other bike on this list. You're not just buying a touring bike, you're buying a computer with a fairing. Up next, a British brand with a suspension system built to think for itself, and a habit of shutting off mid-turn. Number 6. Triumph Trophy SE. Triumph built the Trophy SE to compete directly with BMW's touring lineup. Semi-active suspension, full electronics package. A very ambitious motorcycle on paper. In practice, it was a disaster. The first recall hit 2013 and 2014 models, a defective radio that kept drawing battery power even after the bike was shut off, sometimes draining it dead overnight. The second was more serious. On 2013 through 2017 models, the front brake hose was routed too close to the ignition switch wiring. If those hoses made contact and damaged the wires, it could kill the headlights, taillights, or stall the engine outright. One owner described the engine shutting off mid-turn every time he turned the handlebars left with zero warning. He called it exactly what it sounds like, the ignition switching off on its own at speed. A third recall covered fuel tank leaks. A fourth addressed incorrect tire specification labels. 4 recalls on one model isn't unusual for a car. For a motorcycle, it's a lot. Triumph eventually discontinued the Trophy entirely. Owners who kept theirs report the issues get resolved with enough recall visits, but that's a lot of visits for a bike this expensive. This was a bike that just didn't work. Number 5. Kawasaki Concourse 14. This next bike has a reputation as one of the smartest buys in sport touring. Real power, real comfort, and a price tag that undercuts nearly everything else in its class. Riders who own one tend to defend it fiercely online. That's the Kawasaki Concourse 14. So why is it here? And the answer starts with a system called KeyPass. It's Kawasaki's proximity ignition system, meant to add security by letting the key communicate wirelessly with the bike's computer. When it works, you barely notice it. When it fails, the bike won't start at all, even with the key sitting right in the ignition. Some owners have had to replace the entire system to fix it, an expensive job once the warranty runs out. Then there's the heat. Pre-2010 models direct engine heat straight at the rider's left leg, uncomfortable enough that Kawasaki eventually added foam insulation in 2010 just to address it. Add in recurring complaints about battery drain, charging system failures, and clutch slippage on higher mileage units, and a pattern starts to form. None of these issues are deal breakers individually. Together, There are a lot of small annoyances stacked on a bike that's supposed to be the smart, no-drama choice. The Concours 14 still has real fans, and for good reason. But smart buy and trouble-free are always the same thing. Number 4. Kawasaki Vulcan 1700 Voyager. Kawasaki built the Vulcan 1700 Voyager to go head-to-head with Harley's full-dress tourers. Comparable size, comparable features, at a lower price point. On paper, it looks like the smart alternative. The problem shows up in the charging system. Stator failures are the recurring complaint across the Vulcan 1700 lineup, and the Voyager carries the same electrical architecture as the rest of the family. When the stator goes, the battery stops charging properly. Riders report losing power mid-ride, sometimes with gauges dimming and flickering before the bike shuts down completely. It's not a defect that hits every unit, but it's common enough that check the stator has become standard advice anywhere Vulcan 1700 owners gather online, right alongside routine maintenance tips. There's also the engine braking. Kawasaki's V-twin delivers noticeably harsher engine braking than most riders expect coming off a Harley or Honda, especially downshifting into corners. Some owners adjust to it and stop noticing. Others never fully get comfortable with it. None of this makes the Voyager a bad bike outright. Plenty of owners put well over 50,000 miles on theirs without a single electrical issue. But buying used means gambling on whether you get one of the good ones or one that needs a stator replacement within the first year. At the current used market price, that gamble is tempting enough that a lot of riders are taking it anyway. Up next, a bike that isn't even a traditional motorcycle, and a recall history involving actual fires. Number 3. Can-Am Spyder RT. This bike is probably the most unique on this list. Not every bike on this list is a traditional two-wheeler. The Can-Am Spyder RT is a three-wheeled touring machine. 2 wheels up front, 1 in the back, built by BRP for riders who want stability without giving up the open-air feel of riding. No balancing at stops, no tipping over in a parking lot. For riders managing injuries or just craving something different, it's genuinely appealing. It's also been recalled for catching fire. The 2013 Spyder RT ran hot enough to burn riders' legs, and in some documented cases, actually started fires. Can-Am recalled over 5,000 units. The fix took years. By 2015, the company still hadn't engineered a proper solution, and the owners were told not to idle in traffic and to avoid riding in stop-and-go conditions altogether. That wasn't isolated. Earlier Spyders were hit with 2 separate recalls over fuel vapor canister issues, where vapors could escape near the engine and create a fire risk of their own. Then there's the electronics. Spyders run on a CPU-driven system that monitors everything from stability control to braking. When it throws a false error code, which owners report happening even without an actual mechanical problem, the bike can shut down completely and refuse to restart. Add in inconsistent dealer assembly quality, since Spyders arrive at dealerships in crates and get built on site, and you've got a bike where your ownership experience depends heavily on who put it together. Up next, a defunct brand that riders still swear by, ride up until something breaks. Number 2. Victory Cross Country. Victory doesn't exist anymore. Polaris shut the brand down in 2017, and that alone should be a big red flag before we even start talking about the mechanical issues. The Cross Country was Victory's answer to the full-dress touring bagger, trying to go head-to-head with Harley on power, storage, and style, often at a lower price. Riders who bought one surprisingly tend to defend it hard. Strong engine, real handling for a bike this size, genuine value when new. But dig into ownership reports and a pattern shows up fast. Electrical issues top the list. Clutch cable failures show up across multiple model years, especially 2011 and earlier. Throttle bodies made of rubber degrade over time, and once the stock airbox is in place, replacing them becomes a bigger job than it should be. Then there's the resale value. Owners report losing a third to half the bike's value within 2 model years, even before the brand shut down entirely. Once Victory closed its doors, that decline accelerated fast. Here's the real problem now: parts and dealer support. Polaris agreed to keep supplying parts for 10 years after the shutdown, and Indian dealerships took over warranty work. But finding a technician who actually knows these bikes well is getting harder every year, and that clock is ticking down. A great bike with a manufacturer that no longer exists is a different kind of risk than a bad bike from a company still standing behind it. We think that speaks for itself. Up next, the bike that closes this list with the most complete failure story of them all. Number 1. Yamaha Star Venture Eluder. Here's why this bike takes the top spot. It's not one bad part, it's an entire ownership experience that went wrong from the engine to the warranty process itself. Yamaha built the Star Venture and Eluder to compete directly with the Goldwing and Harley's biggest tourers. Full infotainment, heated seats front and back, a serious engine. On paper, it looked like Yamaha finally had an answer to the segment's biggest names. Then, the engine started failing. Early production units suffered documented cam and lifter failures, catastrophic enough that some riders describe a ticking sound followed by a backfire and total engine death, sometimes in the middle of an intersection. One owner detailed exactly that. Stalled in traffic, cars swerving around him, forced to push the bike to safety by hand. Yamaha's response made it worse. Some owners report the company offering minimal support, leaving riders stranded without a clear path to a fix or a replacement. Add a recall for a front brake switch that could disable cruise control and leave brake lights stuck on, plus a second recall for a transmission gear that could break entirely, and you've got a bike with problems that stacked at nearly every level: engine, electronics, and drivetrain. Yamaha discontinued the line not long after launch. Some owners still defend it, and later production runs did see the lifter issue resolved. But a flagship bike that can seize its engine in traffic, with the manufacturer slow to respond, earns the top spot on this list for a reason. That does it for this video's list. If you enjoyed this video and got a lot of value out of it, please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. If you want to share your horror stories with any of these bikes and are willing to do so, please let them in the comments. And save and share this video with a buddy who might be thinking about any of these machines, and help them steer clear of these bikes. See you in the next video.